So this is the idea. Okay, so next to C7, I want you just to type in the word sensor. Okay, just type in sensor.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now that we have a lamp and a sensor, what we can do is make things automatic, just with a couple of lines of simple code. For example, if the sensor is covered and it's dark, we might want to turn on the lamp. Now, JavaScript is actually used by 70% of professional programmers. So if you learned this skill, then it would actually set you up as well as anyone else, kids. But it's that easy that kids can learn this. And it also then ties into HTML and CSS. And you know about this because you've done a web page before. Isn't that right? But this web page can contain these elements: lamp, sensor, and other things too. So that's what makes it really exciting. So just type in a simple line, IF, and then just the round brackets, just like that, under the JavaScript loop. So the JavaScript loop means the code will repeat. Okay, you've got that?
I didn't hear what you said in the last part.
JavaScript loop means the code will repeat.
Correct.
Okay, so click select macro and select the analog in. What we're going to do is measure the sensor. So click analog in and then select sensor. Put the cursor here and we're going to click on add macro. That will type in for us analog in sensor. So we're going to say if we measure the sensor and then use a backspace, get rid of the semicolon and put in a less than. So if we say we want to measure it, I want to compare it with a number, which number do you think we should use? If it goes under the number, we want to turn on the lamp.
If it said 34, let's say 40.
40, you want me to get it under 40? Usually we go about halfway.
So about 100?
Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, 100, and then just close the brackets. Oops. Just one bracket, and that's it. Just press enter. So we say if analog in sensor is less than 100, and then we're going to select the turn on. Okay, and then we can select the device, which is the lamp. So this list is what we typed in, lamp. And then put the cursor under the if and press add macro. It then says turn on lamp. Okay, press enter, type in else, because we want the opposite. If it's greater, we want to turn off the lamp. So under the else, then select turn off. Okay, you already have lamp, so make sure the cursor is under the else and just press the add macro, and you should have 4 lines of code. Do you have 4 lines of code? Yours should say if less than 100, sensor less than 100, turn on lamp, else turn off lamp. Is that right?
Else I have to turn off lamp too.
You have the turn off lamp as well. That's good. I don't need it because the code is actually going to run from you, not from me. You made this. Okay, so just go up to the top and press run. And it should go green. So you see a green run.
I see a green run code right now.
Okay, very good. So all I need to do then is try it. So if I cover, you should see that the numbers start going down. If I start covering my hand, do you see the numbers going down?
Numbers going down.
Okay, so I'll cover it up now. When it goes under 100, then the lamp should turn on if your code is correct. I might have to have a look at your code. Okay. So upper and lower case is important. Is it the same as mine?
I know what happened. My if is uppercase. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
If in the start of the sentence capitalized. I did that. Sorry.
Easy. That's all right. That's where we have learning coming in. You said learning is so important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I can see your other video. That's good. Okay, now I can see your screen. I can't see your whole screen. Okay. All right. I do know what the problem is. So let me trying to find my video again. Okay, the problem is that you have upper and lowercase on the name, under the name, but you're only using lowercase in the code. So it needs to be correct upper and lowercase for the sensor and the lamp, the words.
Oh.
Does that make sense? That's okay.
We talked about this yesterday in terms of errors. You have to be okay with making them.
That's fine. Now you know. You'll remember that. You'll definitely remember that. So now I can see your page. I can actually see if the numbers go down. I can see them going down. So that's good. So I'm covering. Can you see my video?
I can.
Okay, that's good. So if I cover them and then it goes under, there it goes. Now it goes under 100 and you can see the lamp turned on.
It works now.
Yeah, and it jumped back up because I wasn't covering it properly and it made the sensor go up again. All right. So there you go. And if I uncover it, turns off again. That's the else. So that means sensor is less, turn on lamp, else uncover it, it's greater, then it turns off again. Okay, that's it. Now, what I want you to do is, so this is useful. I'll just see if I can also get my own video. I can, all right. That's fine. And if you share your screen, that makes it easier too. What I'm going to do now, you've done some HTML, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to create an on and off button on your web page, okay, which you can actually turn on and off things from anywhere in the world on your web page yourself. You can actually make your own buttons. And this little web app, then you can fly on the internet. So you can make different size buttons, colors, you can put shapes, anything on your normal web page, but you can add buttons as well. So this Run-Linc also creates apps. So it basically creates IoT web apps, web pages with IoT. Okay, so let's just put a title on this one. Let's just create an easy title, H1. And we're going to create an alarm control web page. So you can put in your name. Actually, you can put in your name first and put your name and then alarm control web page. Then we can know it's yours. Web page. Okay. And then we just put in the H1. H1 is just a heading and 1 is the large size heading, okay, on your web page, HTML. Okay, and I can see your shared screen. Excellent. Okay, this is working well. So that looks fine. So just press stop code and run code again, and then scroll down past the end of the buttons just under here, and you should be able to see your heading.
I see it.
Okay, I can see it too. All right, fantastic. So now we just want to create a couple of buttons. What I'm going to do is I have here a buzzer and is connected to C5. So what we want is we'll create a couple of buttons so they can activate this. and hopefully you can hear it all the way from Australia to USA. Okay, so C5, we'll just need to make it also an analog in, digital out, like the lamp, digital out. It's an output. So it turns on and off, digital out. Okay, and then you can, next to that, you can put in buzzer. You can actually use upper and lowercase, but just need to make sure that in the code it's actually the same upper and lowercase. So it's usually, it is a good idea, but just make sure in the code it's the same. And if you like, you should see a red button, so you can actually check the buzzer as well. Make sure that the buzzer is working. Yeah, that's loud. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you can hear that.
I heard
All right.
an alarm.
Okay. Yeah. So, but now what we want to do is connect that to your own buttons on your page. So you might have created buttons before on a web page. You just use the normal. This is normal HTML, so we just use the word button, which is in HTML. So lowercase button. Okay. And then type in on click. This actually means when you click this button, it will do something. So we put equals on what we want it to do. And then we put in the quotation mark, we can actually then put in the instruction, which is just the same as we did for lamp, really. So turn on with the capital O and the N, and then in brackets we can put in what we want to turn on, which is your buzzer. So it needs to be correct upper and lowercase, or you can call it something else. You can call it siren or sound.
So put on click equals.
Yep. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then in quotations, we have the turn on with a capital O.
Hold on for a second, I'm not seeing.
You can see. You can see my video.
Put turn on in quotation.
That's right. Quotation mark and then turn on.
How's that?
Let me have a look. So there's no space. Okay. Okay, let's go back. At the beginning, you need to have the word button. So can you see the word button there?
So this is his screen. Yeah. Yeah.
So the word button and then a space. You're very patient.
Thank you. You guys are very patient with me. So I'm very appreciative of that. So button on click.
And then space and then on click, just one word. Just one word, so there's no space between the on and the click. Good. And there's no space after on click, so straight away there's a equal sign. So just get rid of the space. Yeah, that's good. And then no space after equals. And then there's no space after the turn on. There's just a bracket straight away. That's it. Beautiful. So let me just go back. Now we need to actually put in end of quotation mark and end of the triangle bracket. Okay, so quotation mark triangle bracket. Okay, and then on the top, we're going to actually put in some text. So we're just going to say alarm on. Alarm on. Okay, so it's going to be an alarm on button. Alarm on, and then we're going to end the button, so slash button. Okay, you'll probably save money after you learn how to do a bit of HTML, because at the moment you're paying for someone to do your pages, aren't you?
Yes. Well, I do it from time to time with WordPress, and so
okay,
I go back and forth doing it with on my own, and then doing it with other people. So I have to do a lot of going to forums and
okay.
things like that.
With this, you're actually learning the native language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll just check your page. Actually looks pretty good. So just go to stop code and run code again. Press the stop code button and the run code button, and you have an alarm on. So it works. Your button works. Okay, but you don't have an off button. So just next to C5, just click that green. Okay, good. Thanks.
That would be a not good thing to get started.
Okay. So all you need to do now is copy that text.
And then, yeah.
So if you just copy that, highlight it, and then right click, and then use the copy. Okay.
I just had an idea.
And then do the paste, so you have two lines the same.
Send myself a reminder.
Two lines the same. But on the second line, we actually, so I haven't done the second line, but you can do the second line. On the second line, I want you to, instead of turn on, it'll be turn off, double F, and the text on the top will be alarm off. Yeah, okay, that looks good. So just stop code and run code again. Absolutely, there you go. So you actually created a web page on the bottom of RunLinc, but now what we want to do is show you that with one click, you can actually make that page actually just your own page or your own project. You can, in the HTML, we can also add things like from the sensor, we can put data on there, like have temperature or graphs or colors. You know, you can add lots of things to web pages. Just stepping you through the main parts of this. On here, though, we have a button which you can just fly that independently. So what I want you to do is just make sure you press stop code. Just press the stop code first. And then go to board and press send.
Says file saved.
That's good. Press OK. Okay, did you see a second message?
Yes, I did. It said index file saved, and I can't remember the next one, but it basically was just confirming.
Excellent. So the project file is saved first, and then also the index file is actually your web page, which was saved inside the chip. And so all you need to do now is just go to this address on the chip, which will open the index without going to /control.html. So then it will just go to your index file, which you saved to the chip, which you should just see your web page, which you created.
So what do I do again?
So just at the top for the address, delete the /control.html part and keep the rest of the address and just press enter. So just keep this bit and press enter.
That's neat.
Okay. So you can actually see
The web page.
the web page.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So, and the web page did work. Did you try the buttons, the alarm on, alarm off? Alarm off. Okay, but watch this. If I actually cover the sensor over here, your page also contains code to control the lamp still. Okay, so the your page is still controlling the lamp, so that JavaScript code is actually still in your page. Okay, this is the web page that you just made. Okay, so how long did it take you to make your web page today?
Literally no time at all. It would have been shorter if I was not making mistakes.
So I guess the thing that we need to compare to, you said it only took you maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How long do you think it might take with other internet IoT technologies to put 2 buttons on a web page?
Similar amount of time, maybe 5 minutes for someone who's an expert, 10 for someone who's got challenges.
Okay, I actually asked uni students over here to look it up, and they had Arduino chip, and they also had the same Wi-Fi chip as I have. They looked it up and they found a 20-page document to do it.
Oh, so I didn't understand the question. You said, how long would it take not using this, but traditional method?
Traditional method, yeah, that's
traditional
something.
method. You're talking some time. Yeah,
so traditional method, they found a 20-page document with 120 lines of code. So I said, look, you just cut and paste it, copy it in, and see how long it takes. And after 10 hours, they couldn't get it working. 10 hours because the procedure, they couldn't get it right. There was quite complex procedure. And then one of them, I think, after 20 hours, finally got their 2 buttons working.
Yeah, just to make the page aesthetics, to say Yofi's alarm control page, alarm on, alarm off. That's the easiest part right there. Now to make the page function, to turn it on, to turn it off, to have a sensor. I would say at least a day with experts. Yeah, it couldn't be somebody who's a beginner that can make a web page that has a light sensor and an ability to turn on an alarm or turn it off depending upon certain conditions. So yeah, you're looking at something for an expert at minimum.
So I actually asked an expert. We did a bit of a demo to some university professors that teach IoT, and the professor said to me, he said, even for me, he said, this is at least 10 times faster.
Oh,
at least 10 times faster.
10 times. This is much faster than 10 times. The on and the off example that you showed me happened this quick. That's how quick it was for that sensor. We did it, and it worked.
Well, that's just testing the link. So the Run-Linc takes care of that already. I mean, that's the part that's also very complex, just to be able to achieve to get a link. You know, so the Run-Linc, it's called Run-Linc because you run it and it links straight away. I mean, even before you actually, when you did the board send, then the code was inside my chip. But before that, I had no code on my end. Everything was on your computer. And this is how internet technology works. It actually works on distributed computers. It doesn't work all on one place. And this is true IR 4.0, Industry Revolution 4.0 technology. It's not the old IR 3.0 computers technology. If you look at Industry Revolution, we have, first of all, we have the Industrial Revolution, which was the steam engines, etc. And then we have Industry Revolution 2.0, which was basically assembly lines and factory and being able to repeat and having automated factories running. And 3.0 was the computers then came in as well. But 4.0 is internet technology. And when we say Internet of Things, 4.0, most technologies still rely on the IR 3.0 technology first, and then they try to connect them in the internet way. But our technologies are true running IR 4.0 technology, which uses IR 4.0 as the platform, the internet as a platform. So this is all native internet, JavaScript, HTML, etc. So that's what makes it different, makes it very different, you know. And on this platform, I want to show you how easy it is then to go to the next step, IR 5.0, and you know what that is?
I've only gotten to 4.0. I have not discovered what
Okay.
5.0 is.
5.0 is artificial intelligence. So I'm going to show you now how easy it is for you to do that just in a couple of lines of code. Does that boggle your mind?
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do is, so you don't need to do anything, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load a file which you will be able to see in a minute. But the save and load basically means if you save something, it'll download what you have into your downloads. So I'm just going into downloads and I'm going to open up a project. It's a .json file. And what I will do is then I will connect to this chip myself because I'm not connected, believe it or not. And then I will send it to the same chip, this code. Yeah, editor file saved, index file saved. Let's just make sure that was correct. Okay, all right, I'll just disconnect again. So just go back to your Run-Linc. Okay, you have the Run-Linc back up. So what I want you to do, so do this carefully, go to board and then press get. Press the second button, not the first button, just press the get button. And what this will do, will get the project from the chip. Because I just put in a project into the chip, now you should be able to get it from the chip. So when you do that, you should actually be able to see these lines of code, which were in this project, which is actually AI voice synthesis. Can you see that under JavaScript loop?
I do.
Okay. So what this is it actually converts that text. So that text there you can't understand because it's in Bhutanese. I did this to Bhutan the other day, and someone typed this in Bhutanese, welcome in Bhutanese, and it actually spoke in Bhutanese. They were quite surprised. They just laughed their heads off. But what I want you to do is just this text here. So it's a text-to-speech artificial intelligence code. If you change this part, the text, to your own message, okay. So when I do the light sensor, you can see there's the light sensor there still at the top. When it goes less than 160, then it will activate the voice. So I want you to change what's between the quotation marks to your own text so that it can speak whatever you want. You can say intruder alert, you can say welcome home, you can put in someone's name, etc. Just some text in there, what you want it to speak. Okay, and I won't even take a look at your shared screen, so it'll be a surprise to me. Tell me when you're finished. Okay. Okay.
What do I do? I do send?
So no, just hang on. Did you actually change the text in here, the blue part?
I did.
Okay. All right. So all you need to do is press stop code and run code,
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll run when I put my hand over the sensor, because it'll go less than 160. So if I put my hand over the sensor,
It said, it's saying it.
This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing.
okay, and if I undo it, it stops.
This is amazing. This is
Okay.
amazing.
So it actually goes depending on the sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know this? So you can see how many lines of code there is there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's basically 2 lines of code for the speech synthesis. One line for to change the text, the other one to speak, and then the else is to cancel the code.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that I actually asked someone, an expert, because he was presenting to a worldwide audience on Zoom. I actually asked him a question because he was talking about using a lot of Python for artificial intelligence. So I asked him the question, I said, how then would you use the Python to just change a small piece of text to a voice? And you know what he said?
Tell me.
He said to me, he said, I've never done that before, but I think what I would do is I would record the voice first, and then I would put the file up onto the internet. And then when I activated something, then it would get the file and then it would play the file.
That offers no ability to change. You have to go through that whole step for every different variation.
Exactly. So do you know that with this, the sensor, like the number on the sensor, we can just put in a small piece of JavaScript to change that to a text instead of a number, and then we can send it to the speech synthesis, and whenever the sensor actually changes, then it'll speak that straight away.
Mm-hmm.
So how would they do that in Python? Python is supposed to be like the AI language, but it's not as powerful as the JavaScript. In fact, I had a surprise one day because, on the HTML, I'll just turn my camera around again. You put in two lines of code for 2 buttons in the HTML, but do you know how many lines of code it takes to say, take the camera from your phone and display it on your web page? Did you know that only takes 1 line of code to do that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I actually had a student and he did it, and he said to me, and I said to him, okay, create a little video of your 1 line of code camera, okay, so that you can send it back to me. And you know what the surprise was? He sent me his video, very nice video of 1 line of code, and he could move his camera around and everything. And then he said to me, and now I've done an extension. And I thought, I never asked him for an extension. What has he done? So he said, I found that if I add just about 30 lines of code, I can get my camera to actually recognize the object. So then he put a banana in front of it, he put an apple in front of it, an orange, and then the text of what it was actually was under his camera. It actually did image recognition, AI image recognition on there. Wow. And my jaw dropped, and I said, I've never seen that. I have done some code where you can take a picture with this and send it to Google and it comes back as to what it is. But I said, yours does it so quickly that you can't be, have you got an internet faster than what I've seen before? And he said, no, it doesn't go to Google. It just processes it locally. It uses the 3D processor on the device because JavaScript connects to 3D processor, and it'll just process it in a fraction of a second. So these words are coming up faster than my eye can recognize as to what these objects are directly on the web page. I'll send you the video because it's quite inspiring as well. So further to that, we actually have a written project where you can try that yourself. And also the 1 line of code you can try yourself, and you can try some other things even without this hardware, because we have put a version of the Run-Linc online which works with or without hardware. So you can still use the CSS, HTML, JavaScript loop parts of it. But obviously, if you don't have the kit, then it can't connect into LAMP, buzzer, and IoT, which is nice. But you can actually put a link even on that page. If you put in the correct link, it will link into your IoT devices as well. Also, obviously, we do sell the kit. So we have the kit like this with the Wi-Fi. Oh, I accidentally covered the sensor.
This is amazing.
Okay.
This is amazing.
Can you hear that? He actually put that in.
This is amazing. This is
Okay, you're not talking to him? No. Sure. Okay. So are you in touch with any STEM clubs over there?
I am literally, I have a few associates that I collaborate with, but I operate in that capacity. I go to different schools and I create STEM clubs in the school for the youth, for the children, the middle school students or the high school students that are interested in learning about STEM. We'll do like a club and we'll do different activities. Last year,
how do you think students would take this?
I think they will be amazed considering the limitless amount of creativity. The kids will want to say some wild things, make the web page say some wild things, some inappropriate things. But I think that would be neat for them to even just do that. You know, the creativity is what we want because it makes them, you could say, try this, try that, do something different, you know, once they get engaged. And I think the ability to make things happen with that singular chip is the most amazing point of it all that will really blow their minds.
They can be creative because, like I said, you know, even you know, because it's one line is already a camera, then they can start adding onto it for object recognition.
Mm-hmm.
They can put on their graphs. You know, students have done graphs. We've just in here we're talking about a press release because the same young man went on and actually he won the World Young Inventors competition using this platform. Yeah. So, sorry? Okay. Yeah, he won this competition, which this is last year's, but ITEX 2020. It's actually the innovation competition, and Max, I think I sent you a video of Max actually won this trophy. Did you see that video?
Mm-hmm. I did. In those documents that I was looking at last night.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, what I need to do then is put us in a position where we can have a group of individuals see this experience that I just did, go through the same workshop that I did.
Sure.
Not just go through the workshop, but become interested in learning how to operate this, take this type of technology, you know, become better involved with STEM through access with STEMSEL and my organization collaborating with you. So I really think my challenge now is to try to bring more people to the table to experience what I did with STEMSEL. I think it's important for them to understand the potential that is available that we have not even discovered or even tapped into, because, you know, talking to Peng last night and then seeing this, there are limitless possibilities that are all based upon creativity. You know, how creative do we want to be with this type of technology, with this type of, it looks like magic, but it's just technology.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so many possibilities. So I guess we need to, I will send you the 5 projects which I have already, which are offline, which you can do, but also you can show others. But the reason I'm not just sending out videos and projects, but want to do live demos is so that people can try it themselves. You know, when I sent you that video, you had a look, and probably what you were thinking straight away is this little kid is a genius, etc. And that's people's reactions until they try it themselves, and then they realize what it is. Because we can describe it all day long, but people won't know until they push the buttons.
You have to experience it.
Because it's so different that there's nothing to compare to.
And he did look like a genius. He did look like a genius.
You can say that it's like taking the stairs up a 100-story building compared to a lift, but still, when they, you know, they still won't know what it is until they try it. So,
well, I see what this is. I see the difference because when I can remember first looking at a book called Web Pages for Dummies.
Yeah.
Show you how to do web pages. So it had every HTML tag. You have to figure out which HTML tag do I need to change the color, to put my paragraph here, you know, hover. You had to figure all this HTML out. This is so much more efficient, more intuitive. It just can do so much more than the brain. It takes too much time for the brain to iron all this out.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, excellent.
Tell Peng I said thank you. Tell Wendy I said good to meet her too.
Sure. Okay, will do. Thank you.
Y'all be great.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.